Hello my dear students, welcome back to the class once again. So today we are going to continue with the same chapter. In the previous class we discussed the political causes of the revolt of 1857, and those who missed that class or those who did not watch the previous video, the link to that previous video is given in the description. Please go through it so that you can continue with the chapter. So today we are going to discuss about the another causes of the revolt of 1857, religious causes, social and religious causes. First we will discuss about the religious causes, and then we will discuss about the social causes too. So here in this topic, religious causes. So how did the religious cause became responsible for the revolt of 1857? So here in this topic, I'll make it very precise to make you understand what were the reasons for which the revolt broke out in 1857. So first of all, conversion to Christianity. So what it is? With the coming of the English in our country, Christian missionaries also flocked in our country, and their main motive was to convert the Indians to Christianity. And they even got the support of the British administration. So when they came to India, they possibly took all measures to abuse the religions of the Indians, even the Hindu religion, the Islam religion. All the religions were abused openly, and there was no one to protect the religion of the Indians. So they already had been given the permission from the British government to convert the Indians to Christianity as much as possible. So they tried every possible means to convert the Indians to Christianity. So conversion to Christianity. Now they openly criticized, they openly abused the religion of the Hindus and the Muslims. And the Hindus and Muslims, they started feeling insecure regarding their religion. They thought that their religion is in danger. So not only that, the Christian missionaries, they came up with a number of acts which we will discuss later on. So this way the Christians, they tried their best way to convince, or we can say that indirectly convert the Indians to Christianity. So like from the very beginning, the British made Bible teaching compulsory. British made Bible teaching compulsory, that is mandatory in government offices and educational institutions. British also ordered civil and military officials to preach gospels. That was made compulsory. So in many of the cantonments and even in prisons, the missionaries preached openly. They ridiculed other religion. They openly preached and ridiculed other religion. Even they shouted in front of Christian missionaries, shouted in front of the people, abusing their religion, hurting the religious sentiments of the Hindus and the Muslims. So this way, the people of India became very much insecure regarding their religion. So the spread of Christianity was done with such fervor that it created a sense of alarm. It created a sense of alarm and the panic among the people. The people were very much now insecure, and there was a lot of panic among the Indians that their religion now is in danger. There was a slogan among the Hindu community, even in the Muslim community, that their religion is in danger. But there was no one to protect their religion, because these Christian missionaries, they had been given full support. They had been given full support by the British government. So Christianity was spread gradually, and many were forcefully converted, and many under severe pressure, like a number of laws were passed, and they had no other option left out rather than to convert themselves to Christianity. So I'm not going against any religion. I'm just teaching you about how the Christian missionaries they came to India and they tried to convert the Indians to Christians. So it is not against any religion. So let me clear it once again. I am not against any religion. So the way the Christian missionaries started preaching, abusing the religion of the Indians, the Hindus were hurt, Hindu sentiments were hurt, the Muslim sentiments were hurt, and they felt very, very insecure, and they were very much frustrated, and they were very much dissatisfied with the working of the Christian missionaries, abusing their religion and forcefully converting the Hindus and the Muslims to Christians. And next one, another laws related to women. Laws were passed related to women, though it was good in a positive context, like sati system, which was an age-long tradition which was followed in our country, was completely banned, and it was made a punishable offence in the year 1829. In 1829, sati was completely banned. What was sati? During the old times, the women, after the death of their husband, they used to burn themselves on the same fire, and that became a tradition, and it was followed in our country from generation to generation. Though it was an evil practice. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, with the help of Lord William Bentinck, proposed a bill, and the act was passed, making sati a punishable offence in the year 1829. But this was taken by the Indian Orthodox people as a complete interference in the religion of their life. It was an interference, they thought it. The Orthodox people, they could not tolerate the interference by the British government in their religious life. So this also became one of the main factor which hurt the sentiments of the Orthodox people in our country. Though it was in a positive context, the motive was to free the society from the evil practices, but our Orthodox people in the society, they could not tolerate this interference. Okay, so sati pratha was banned in the year 1829. It was passed. It was made a punishable offence. Then the another one was Widow Remarriage Act. Widow Remarriage Act was passed in the year 1856. Widow remarriage. In our tradition, long time back in our country, when you go back before the coming of Britishers in our country during the Sultanate period, Mughal period, before that, child marriages were there, and even we at a very early age, at a very tender age, the girls, the married girls, we can say, they used to get a widow. That means that their husband died due to some natural circumstances and all, and they had to lead a long life without a husband, without the support of any family members. So it is very logical that girls, they can stay in their parents' house up to certain time. After that, the parents will also leave them, or they can say that after the death of the parents, what will the girl do? But there was no one to help them, there was no one to support them. So in order to allow the girls, in order to allow the widows to remarry again, the act was passed. Actually, according to the Hindu custom, widows were not allowed to marry. Widows were not at all allowed to marry. They had to lead a black and white life. No color in their life. So that was very, very tough. It was very tough for young girls who were married at a very tender age, and now they had to live a widowed life throughout their life. Life of a widow is very, very difficult. Okay, so in order to allow the widows to remarry again, the act was passed, which came to be known as Widow Remarriage. That means the widows can remarry again, and it was legally allowed through the Act of 1856. The Act was passed. So all these changes were brought with the help of our social reformers. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was there. He was a pioneer of, we can say, modern India. He wanted to bring reformation within society. So with the help of Lord William Bentinck, the Governor General of the time, he tried to bring this type of changes through number of acts. Though Raja Ram Mohan Roy had to face a lot of opposition from the Orthodox people, but still the act was implemented. Okay, but the bringing of this type of act hurt the religious sentiments of the people, hurt the social. They thought that they are interfering in their religious life. They are trying to change the tradition. They are trying to forcefully forcefully enter into the culture of the Indian people. So Widow Remarriage Act also hurt the religious sentiments of the people. So religious sentiment in the sense that all these things were somehow related with the religion of the Indian people. Okay, so sati was made a punishable offence. Widow Remarriage Act was passed in 1856. So all these were brought, and that became the religious cause for the revolt of 1857. Now the third one you can see here, that is a C, Hindu law of property, 1850. In 1850, they passed a new bill which became an act in the year 1850, that in order to inherit the ancestral property, you need to convert yourself to Christianity. Suppose your parents had left huge lots and lots of property, so you need to inherit them, because after father, son will become the legal owner. But in order to inherit the ancestral property, you have to convert yourself to Christianity. That was the act. The act made it compulsory and mandatory that if you want to inherit the property of your ancestors, you have to convert yourself to Christianity. So obviously, if there are two brothers in the family, then definitely there will be a doubt, there will be a confusion. So if I become rigid and stuck to my own religion, then another brother may convert himself to Christianity and he will inherit the entire property. So that type of confusion was there, that type of problems erupted in the Hindu family to inherit the property of the ancestors. So there was only one way. So if you want to inherit the property of your ancestors, you have to convert yourself to Christianity. So why they did it? What was the main motive of doing so? The main motive of the Christian missionaries and the British government was to convert the maximum people to Christianity. Okay, so Hindu law of property was passed in the year 1851. This act was threat to their religion. These acts were threat to their religion. Though I don't agree with this too, this was just a positive step taken by the British government to free the society from the evil practices. But the other side, the Indian people, they took it as a threat to their religion. So the next one is social causes, which comes on which will be taken together, religious and social causes or social religious causes. So in the social causes, introduction of railways and telegraph. So the Britishers, when they came to our country, their main motive was to expand the territories in our country, and they wanted to connect to the interior part of the country, and they even wanted to make a communication system stronger in order to reach out to the interior part of the country, where they can supply their finished goods brought from England, and they can send troops wherever required urgently. So for that, railways were introduced in our country. So with the beginning of railways in our country, Indians started to feel insecure again regarding their religion, regarding their caste system and all. So development of railways, it reduced the travel time of the Indians. This is another attempt by the British to disrupt their rigid caste system. They thought that they are trying to disrupt the rigid caste system which they were following from generation to generation. So as you know that the caste system is very, very rigid. Even though today we don't believe in caste system, but even people follow the caste system very, very rigidly. They thought that the Britishers are trying to disrupt the caste system of the Indians. So how it is so? Because in a railway, when you will travel from one place to another, you will be traveling in the same compartment where the people belonging to high caste and people belonging to lower caste also can travel together. The arrangements were very much appealing to the higher caste, mostly the Brahmins, who thought that Britishers were trying to defile their caste system. The Brahmins, they thought that the Britishers were trying to defile their caste system, and they wanted to ruin the existing system, existing social order that had been followed since time immemorial. They had been following since a long time the caste system, that the lower caste cannot sit with the higher caste, they cannot dine together, inter-caste marriages were not allowed. So there was a lot of among the different castes which prevailed in our country. Like 4 castes were there, like Brahmins. Then next we had Kshatriyas were there. Then third one was Vaishyas, they were the businessmen, merchants and all. And the third one was the Sudras, who served the upper 3 classes. Though they served the upper 3 classes, but they were taken as downtrodden classes. They were not allowed to dine together. They were not allowed to enter the temples. They were not allowed to sit together. They were not allowed to drink and use the water of the same well. This type of caste, this type of system was there in our country in the ancient time. And the Britishers, when they introduced railways in our country, the Brahmins, they thought that they are trying to disrupt their tradition. They are trying to defile their age-old tradition which they have been following. The caste system will be broken. How can I sit with the lower caste people in the same compartment? So, though they did not do so, the main motive of the Britishers were not to break the caste system and all. It was their thinking. It was the thinking of the Indians that they thought that they are trying to defile their caste system. The next one, telegraph. Telegraph again, the means of communication. They erected telegraph poles and all just to communicate. But the Indians thought that why this telegraph poles are erected? They thought that the poles have been erected to hang people. The poles have been erected to hang people who were against the British rule. This type of, let us say it was a miscommunication or misunderstanding, and people thought that telegraph lines are erected so that if we go against the Britishers, they will hang us. Even there was even the people believed that if we don't convert ourselves to Christianity, they will throw us in front of the running train. That was also their belief. Okay, the next one is Western education. Western education. So you know that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was a pioneer of modern education in our country. In order to bring changes, in order to make the people understand the existence of British rule in our country, we need to bring reformation within our society. We need to reform our society so the people of our country will understand the true nature of British administration in our country. So until and unless if they don't free themselves from the orthodox life, the social evils, they cannot understand. We cannot unite together. We cannot go against the Britishers. So for that, he tried his best to introduce Western education, to study English education, to study the minds of the British, how they think, what is their opinion, so that we can even communicate with them through the medium of English. So for that, he wanted English education to be introduced in our country. And with the introduction of Western education in our country, our age-old education system where the children were sent to gurukuls and all, where they studied. After completing their education, they returned back home. Okay, they were taught all the subjects. Mathematics was taught to them, Sanskrit was taught to them, grammar was taught to them in the old educational system, oriental form of education which was there in our country. Okay, and with the starting of, when the Western education was started in the country, the people believed and they thought that the age-old traditional system of education will now disappear from our country. People will forget it, and the people who depended upon those education system, now they will also become jobless. So they thought that now no one will come to listen to them, no one is going to come to them to study. So this Western education also brought a lot of havoc in the life of the people, making the people think that the traditional education system will slowly disappear from our country. So this became the causes for the revolt of 1857. This much for today. We'll meet again in the next class. So till then, please take care of yourself.